So as soon as the May public test server went up and I got a chance to feel how the combat was going to feel like with the stamina changes, I immediately knew that this is going to fundamentally at its core change PvP in New World. I remember when OPR was first released, I initially started doing commentaries on a lot of the things, both build wise and combat wise, when it comes to MMOs in general. And if you noticed, I kind of stopped kind of doing those kinds of videos because what ended up happening in this game is people started to catch on and realize that a lot of things that apply to other games, such as having certain traits in your build, such as escapes, mobility, defensive or offensive abilities, and then little things when it comes to combat, such as positioning and, you know, when to not be aggressive and when to be defensive. All these kind of things that normally apply to pretty much every game didn't apply to this game. And once people started to realize that, that's kind of when the meta that we saw for a very, very long time started to form, which was essentially just all sorts of kind of cheese builds, if you will. Every build kind of formed around either just straight up glass cannon range damage with no escapes because you didn't really need an escape since you can just roll forever, or just full CC combo builds that didn't really have any damage or abilities outside of just the stuns and combos themselves. And again, things like having a mobility ability to escape or a defensive ability, none of these things mattered because you could just, again, roll away forever. So mages were just running Ice Shower, Void Gauntlet with no plan other than just getting people in snares or stuns. Same thing with the Blunderbuss Sword and Shield builds we saw. And it's not just the builds themselves, it's the play styles. And, you know, I've been running quite a bit of footage here in the background, and what we're going to end up seeing here is the adjustment period, because everybody is used to how the stamina bar was, to where, like I said, you didn't have to worry about anything else in your builds or your playstyle because you could just roll away forever. So not only are builds themselves going to have to evolve and adapt to this new combat, but also people's playstyles, which is already, honestly, I haven't been able to play too much because of work, but the 2 days that I have been able to play has been honestly so refreshing to what I'm used to in this game. And not only for everybody else, even for myself, like I thankfully, because I prefer the playstyle that I do, like the cheesy kinds of builds were just not fun to me. So the fact that I have already been playing in a way that is kind of suited for a more realistic, sandbox for a game, that it does help me out in the sense that I don't have too much to adapt to. But even when it comes to the types of fights that I really, really enjoy, which are outnumbered fights, there is some kind of new things that I'm going to have to do and adapt to learn, because as you're going to see in some of the clips here that we have coming up, the stamina changes are huge. So while I am finding that I am still able to play exactly how I was, I do have to change up how I play slightly, because these you just can't roll as much as you were able to. So you really have to make much more intelligent decisions with everything that you're doing in combat, because playing full aggressive like I used to isn't really viable anymore, because you will just run yourself out of resources and end up dying. So we're going to take a look at a couple of OPRs that I was able to get in, and some fights that I got into. But already I am feeling really optimistic about this update for the future of the game. Now, first up here, we're going to be taking a look at a fight on the Old Faithful, the Fire Staff and Rapier. It's the first kind of build that I wanted to try out and see how it felt with the new changes to combat. But we are kind of set up behind the big Zerg here, and positioning is very key. Is the thing you're going to notice is the biggest adjustment that I have to make. You see immediately there, instead of just fighting in the middle of that whole Zerg, I immediately just reposition behind this pillar here. I pull a couple of players, and right there you see, because of these changes, you can't roll away forever. We were able to put enough pressure on that healer there to be able to get him on the back foot and allow us to just get a ton of backstabs on him. And we open up here on the second player. Get a nice little read on the parry. I do notice there that I do have a bowman in the background shooting at me, so again I have to reposition, and I get a flame dash off, and you see I try to get a heavy attack just to get a little bit of pressure on that bowman and buy myself just enough time to finish off the spearman, get the kill, but we are very low, so I have to reposition here to this little rock just to provide a little bit of line of sight, get just enough health here to get myself back in the fight, and we burn out over to the remaining player here. He tries to keep some distance as he is a bowman, but all I have to do here is kind of remain calm and run him out of stamina. You see I ran myself out of stamina there, but we played aggressive and were able to regen all of our stamina and pretty much have it back up. And right here you see you cannot run away forever. So we're able to lock him down, play smart, play aggressive, run him out of stamina, and we're able to just finish out the kill with the rapier there. But the thing you saw in the beginning of that fight there, or throughout the fight really, was me trying to play patient, because like I said, you cannot just play full aggressive anymore. But we kind of make our way over to the point, and I find one of the players that respawned that I was just fighting, and we get him low while he's fighting somebody else, so we're able to finish him off and pick up another little quick kill here. Nice little fight there, but we do still have quite a few enemies here at the point, so I don't really want to rush in there. I just kind of want to get an idea of how many people we have. You see we get charged by 2 hammer players there, but we do a good job of evading the damage. They do end up leaving this healer to die, unfortunately, and like I said, because of those stamina changes, you cannot just roll. Now, the nerfs to healers is, I think, a video for, or a topic for another video. It's hard for me to kind of say because I'm not a healer myself, but I have noticed that a lot of people feel that healers have been over nerfed, which it does seem a lot easier to kill healers now. But we still are on the point here, and we are taking a bunch of pressure now, and we are in a very bad position. I thought the gate there was open, but it wasn't. And here you're going to see pretty much with no plan, you cannot just roll away forever. So we have no line of sight. Because we're not able to make it out of the gate there, I pretty much just end up getting pelted from range attacks, and we end up going down. But a nice little 3v1 there in the beginning to kind of show kind of how we're able to adapt to the new changes here. One build that I have been having a lot of fun with though is my ice gauntlet setup, and I'm gonna kind of go over some of the changes a little bit in this video, but I kind of want to talk about it by itself. But it's been a lot of fun. But we kind of set up behind the Zerg here in another OPR. We end up catching a archer out here, but he does get a bunch of assistance, and we get caught and almost go down. We had the entomb there to kind of break us out and save us, and I'm able to kind of regen off of the perk heal and a potion and get some footing back. And I'm trying to see if I can land a heavy to nail that one player there, but this is just a really bad place to fight. You see, though, I do end up catching him there around the corner with that ice spike, chunk him, and we're able to finish him off there, following up on the rapier. We do have a couple more players on us though. I do have the bowman still pretty low, but we have a ton of pressure. We mitigate a lot of that damage by jumping into the entomb. We turn around after throwing down the storm and get a beautiful finish off on the bowman, who was still pretty low. And here again, you see, instead of kind of repositioning, what I'm used to doing is just staying in the fight, because you're able to kind of just roll around forever. But instead of kind of making my way out, we go back in with no line of sight and already being low, we end up getting taken out. So adjustments and time is definitely going to be needed. But we respawn here, and we find ourselves back in the middle of the Zerg. We get a nice little two-piece finish off there, and I'm going to see if I can just find myself. One of the things that I really didn't enjoy before was fighting in these scenarios here, where it was like the big Zerg v Zerg fights, because it was just really scenarios where nobody died. But you are really reliably able to finish out fights now, because again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but these stamina changes are huge. You essentially you didn't have to take a fight if you didn't want to before. And now you are forced to make a decision, because if you just try to run away forever, like I said, it's not going to kind of work out for you. We end up taking out that healer there who was trying to make her way out of the back of the base there. And kind of do a little bit of damage, but I don't want to fight there because of just in a really bad position. And you see I make myself in between these players here, but right after kind of jumping on this Red X player there, I really right now need to reposition, because being out in the open against this many players with ranged is just asking to die. So we throw out the storm just to throw out a little bit of pressure to provide myself a little bit of time to retreat. And I make my way to the point here. You probably have noticed that I have changed out shower, and the reason isn't because of the changes. It's actually to give myself kind of a more ranged option to deal with ranged opponents who are attacking me. But we find ourselves in another fight here against a medium or heavy armor flamethrower, it seems like. So I'm just trying to put in damage here to force some pressure on or back onto her, to force her to kind of put that flamethrower down. And when I can't, we just need to keep our distance. We are able to get out her entomb there by throwing out the storm. However, very low, and we're able to get the finish off with the spike there. But yeah, as I was saying, I didn't take off the shower because of the fact that you can kind of roll out of it now. It still is a very strong ability, but I just needed something with more range to be able to relieve some pressure off of myself. But we head to the enemy spawn gate here. You see we have a light armor sword and shield player. We throw out the storm, get a parry. I don't know what he's wearing, but we chunk almost all of his health there with that heavy attack. Not sure if we had enough resilient pieces, but being chilled to get that boost on our rapier, plus the Ren from our Sundering Riposte, you saw we hit him for almost his entire health bar there. And we still have a couple of opponents here left. I tried to throw out the storm to see if I can get another kill there in the middle of that storm, but the flamethrower was just not allowing me to stay in that fight. So I have to reposition here, and I make my way over to just something to provide myself some line of sight. And I've been finding storm is really a nice change, because just the threat, throwing it out on somebody kind of forces them to have to do something. And you see we do end up getting caught this time by the sword and shield combo, and we take quite a bit of damage, and we do go down there. But yeah, the ice gauntlet has definitely been very fun and refreshing to use. But yeah, I said it before in some previous videos. We said it again in the beginning and during this video, but I'm gonna say it one more time just to really drive it home. The stamina changes fundamentally at its core change combat, and I honestly think that we are now on the track to PvP in this game being where it should have been at launch. So if you've been waiting or wondering if now is the time to return, I definitely think that now is the time, because combat is the best it has ever been. So yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching the video. We are going to have tons and tons of content coming out now, so I am super excited. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and have a great day.